Hey, good afternoon, my dear beloved brothers and sisters. Hey, this is Matthew, Mr. Hope Richerzhagen, coming to you live from inside my Subaru Outback. The reason I'm in my car today is I wanted to have this is a special word to my dear beloved sisters. And we all have blind sides. I do, my wife does, like everybody has blind sides. And you know, when you have like a piece of food on your mouth, don't you appreciate it when somebody says, hey, you have a piece of food there? Only a friend would tell you that. Well, this video is in that vein. So just listen, and if the shoe fits, wear it, okay? So I want to talk about one thing that I hear rather frequently is about women who aren't in subjection to their own husbands. And I want to be really clear that women are awesome. Women come loaded. They come full of passion and power and intelligence and beauty. And the thing is that God has called you, my dear beloved sisters, to come underneath the authority of your husband. It doesn't mean you're less valuable. It doesn't mean you're not important. It doesn't mean you don't need to get your needs met. It's not, this is simple. Don't make it hard. And here's what I hear all the time. Like, my husband ought to lead. And I say to him, well, you're in his way. And they're like, well, if he was a man, he would just take over. He would lead like he was supposed to, even though I'm in the way. And I think that when women say that, that's a blind side. They don't understand what they're saying. So I'm sitting in my driver's seat. This is a 2017. I was driving a vehicle very similar to this. It was a 2015 Subaru Outback, same make, same model. 2 years older, I guess, 2 years younger, 2 years older. And I was hit by a drunk driver March 8th of 2022, which is it's been 11 months. A man climbed in the back seat right back there, and he put his arms underneath my arms, and he couldn't move me. And I almost burned to death. The flames were right outside the windshield, and it got so hot in here that the airbag exploded. So I understand a woman says, well, if he ought to just lead. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm in the way. If I'm sitting in the driver's seat right now, a big, strong guy could not move me out of the way. He couldn't. He physically could not. He tried with all his might because the flames were right there and I was going to burn to death. And he wanted to save my life. And he got down on his knees in the back seat right behind me. And he said, God, please help me get this guy out of here. And my guardian angel lifted me over the back seat, right? See, in between these two seats right here. And then in the back seat, he still couldn't pull me out of the car. What I'm trying to get you to understand, sisters, is when you're in the way, you say, what's the big deal? Well, you're in the way. It's hard to move you. You may only weigh, okay, I weigh 200 pounds, and this grown man couldn't move me because I was bigger than him, bigger and taller and stronger. And you may not weigh what your husband does, but you're heavy. Imagine if there's a 50-pound sack sitting right here in front of the driver's seat. I'm sure you weigh at least 50 pounds. You probably weigh 100 pounds. Think how heavy that is to move a 100-pound sack, 250-pound sacks of wheat or flour or corn connected, and you expect him, without hurting you, to be a gentleman and to move. You might weigh 150 pounds. You might weigh 200 pounds. I don't know how much you weigh. Think about what you're asking him to do. Think about it with me before the Lord. You're asking him to somehow lift you out of the way without hurting you, without straining his back, without give the guy a break. God is very, very clear in Ephesians, in Colossians, in Corinthians, in 1 Peter, that a woman's place is right beside her husband underneath his authority. And when you know that you're in his way, you are sinning. And don't get mad at me. Come on, hang in there. If the shoe fits, wear it. If you're sitting in the driver's seat, you're in your husband's way, and you know it, I encourage you. The Apostle Paul in the book of Hebrews 13 times, he says, let us. And I'm going to say, let us repent. Let us rethink and say, you know what? Mr. Hope is right. Matthew, Mr. Hope is right. I've been in my husband's way, and I know I've been in his way, and I'm expecting my husband to somehow work around me and just pull this off, but like that's ridiculous. And when you do, you're going to invite your husband to come play on the team. It's his team and it's your team. Marriage is a team sport. And you're going to invite him to come and be the leader. You're going to invite him to show up. And what you will find is you will have a way more amazing marriage when you quit trying to control. Laura Doyle talks about how you can either have control or intimacy. You can't have both. You got to let him show up. And if you want to have a happy home, if you want his input with the children, if you want him to show up and play with you, you have to give him room. People contribute to a world they help create. And you can do this, my dear beloved sisters. The ball is in your court. And like the Apostle Paul said, let us now do what we know to do. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.